They are two of the rarest human beings I've ever met in my life. They are rare, mate.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Viking Collapse. Matthew, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Yourself, Roy?
Yes, I'm doing terrific. Our special guest today, Mark Blower. How are you, mate?
Extremely well, boys. Extremely well. It's an absolute honour and a privilege to be here with you, Roy and Matt.
It's an honour to have you, Blower.
I think the privilege is ours.
It is. And I must say,
I agree, it is.
Roy, it's quite nice to have someone that can grow a proper beard in the podcast, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. This is 8 weeks of not really giving a fuck about anything at the moment, living by myself, so I do what I want.
You look like someone that
should... poking out the back of your hat there as well, mate.
Sorry?
Kind of matching hair coming out of your hat.
I am desperately due for a haircut, as you can see.
That is horrendous. No one.
Yeah.
Good job we're wearing the baggy yellows then, Roy.
Yeah, exactly. And I honestly, I can't wait. You know, I think this coming Monday I might be able to break my isolation finally.
Oh, perfect.
Come and enjoy a beer with the boys.
Oh, it'll be sure we'll have a table of 20 with a load of bowls of chips and lots of pints somewhere.
Lovely.
Sure. So it's might have to open the club up.
Lovely. Yeah. Alrighty, well, we'll get into what we're going to...
People at a community centre?
Hey?
Sorry?
I'm sure the club's a community centre, so I think we can get away with extra people there.
I know. I reckon we should.
Oh, wow.
Put one through the toots, mate. We've got high demand to make it happen.
That's it.
Breaking news. All right, well, without further ado, I'll just quickly run through what this podcast will cover. This podcast, we really, whilst we're in isolation, we don't have a lot to talk about from the club's behalf. So we're just going to, go through with our guests, get to know our guests a little bit more. So we'll go through some of Blower's career stats, ask him some questions about his cricketing career journey. We'll discuss what the other Viking boys have been doing in isolation. And then I think there's a few questions from the fans for the man himself. So, do you want to get stuck into it, Matt?
Yeah, I will. And just quickly, we did say there's no Viking news. Obviously, none from the cricket club itself, but we did hear some positive news from the association that Timmy Park has just come out of hospital. So our thoughts are with him, and we're glad that he's recovered and well. Onto Blower Viking career. Blower, it's been a big one. I've got your statistics here, mate, and you score some runs, don't you?
Oh, mate, just don't say everything, mate. It's all guilty runs.
Oh, wow, guilty runs. But we'll go through them because I want to ask you some questions, and I really want to get to know a bit more about it. Let's go back this last season quickly. You played 9 matches, scored 226 runs at an average of 28.3 with 250s in there. That's a successful season.
It wasn't a bad season. Very slow start with losing the hearing and having a few vertigo issues. But after the first innings, you're very consistent to the end. So I think at one stage I was averaging probably mid-30s. So yeah, no, it's good to have a consistent.
Is that averaging 30 in runs or the amount of abuse and swear words you've got per innings?
Oh no, abuse was a lot higher, mate. You know
yeah,
that.
I could imagine.
Could
imagine. And also there was a one-day flag in there. What was that to be a part of?
Oh, it's always good to be part of Matty's first final and him captaining it was absolutely fantastic. A few new boys singing the song at the end was an education. I think 2 people knew the words. Good to play a game with Matt and not only that, Jacob, who I've known for years and years and years. Him get a flag at an early age was also good as well.
Oh,
yeah, lovely. I remember my first flags as a young kid.
Which one was it, Roy?
Very, very distant memories now, actually. But my first flag, I don't remember what year it was. It was with under Lunny, I think.
Yeah, the one day flag, the Tudor Grand Final, wasn't it?
Yeah. When Tudor took 6 for 16,
yeah.
Mickey was dropped.
Oh.
And
it was your first flag.
My first flag.
Beauty.
Yep.
But that was the so that was your first for this season, and I've got your your highlights here for your career at the Vikings. I've got 2014-15 E-grade flag, 2015-16 E-grade one-day flag, 15-16 E-grade flag, and also 2 losing grand finals. But we'll move on to them grand finals later. 3 flags you won before this season. Can you talk us through them? What memories have you got from them?
The first one was quite important to me. That was with Hads. Didn't play a game all season in that grade.
Who else was in that team? I noticed you say it was with Hads, but you didn't mention the opening batsman.
There's Hads. Slapper was in there. Wellesley was in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's someone else. Can't remember who.
Yeah, I'm sure there was someone that got you into that grand final, Blower, but we won't talk about
Must have been. I do remember watching a semi-final. It was a class act. I'll give you that.
Yeah. Well,
did you show up in? Did you play the grand final, Matt?
I did. I hit 100 in the semi, got dropped at first ball of the grand final, and only made 7.
So I wasn't sure. I couldn't really remember you in the grand final.
I was a late call up, mate, and I top scored that game for you.
I do remember that. Came in the middle order and saved us from memory.
It was a bit of a Viking collapse on that one.
It was, wasn't it? It was. So what about the other flags then? Because the year after you won the double, well, the triple actually. Was that under Gambo or Hadders again?
That was under Hadders as well. I significantly remember the one day because Hads played an absolutely brilliant innings opening the bat. And then basically I came in needing 5 runs.
Perfect.
And thought, yeah, beauty, I'll do the right thing and, get a chance to try and slog the first ball and let Hads take the next ball at the other end and hit the winning runs.
Yep. Only
be given a nice rank full toss first ball and smacked it to the boundary for it to get called a no ball as well. So game over and Hads.
So everyone remembers
the finisher,
not Hadders.
That's it.
The finisher.
And if my memory's right, Lower.
What was that, sorry, Mark?
I said, if my memory's right, the next flag you won, the 15-16 E-grade 2-day flag, was that the famous one against Warwick Greenwood?
Default, mate.
Because we talk about that a lot from non-players, the fans on the sidelines. But what was it like to be a part of as a player? Because weren't you one of the not out batsmen at the end?
No, I got out. I choked, mate. I tried to play a nice little leg glance and got a leading edge to mid-on, if I remember correctly. But, Bunny down the other end saved us a fair bit. But all in all, Warwick Greenwood can say what they want. They lost that game. Marshy as a captain was absolutely disgraceful. Didn't know the rules going into the game. Thought we were arrogant and we would try and chase down everything. And, cost his team possibly a flag, or at least us.
A bit of controversy surrounding the game. And that doesn't really reflect your kind of character on the field, does it, Mark?
No, mate, I'm very, very away from any controversy. Being a keeper, I generally stay pretty quiet and don't say much. Yeah,
because there's been a few instances, just sidetracking a bit, there's been a few instances, maybe one with Denman, refused to shake your hand, I believe.
Yeah, but everyone's taken that out of context. Well, you got to remember, me and TD are, futurists, and we know when things are going on. Nostradamus or what. So we just started the whole social distancing, not shaking hands, well before everyone else did. There's nothing to be seen there, boys. It was, very, ahead of our times.
I love that.
I'm sure he's not the only person you've had a run in on the cricket field before.
No. I reckon I'm one of the only people who can honestly say they've played cricket and had a punch thrown at them. Not only can I say it, I've actually had it 3 times.
You have?
None of them were your fault, though, were they?
Never, not at all.
So would it be fair to say, Blower, because obviously we know you off the cricket field and you're just an above-average guy. So is it fair to say that you got white line fever?
To say I've got white line fever is a bit of an understatement.
He's just competitive, just a competitive man.
I've only seen half of it. Before I had kids, I was a lot worse. I've actually calmed down a little bit.
Wow.
Ooh, what a sight that would have been.
Yes.
Jeez, that is quite something, I'd say. But all right, well, moving back on to your Viking career then, Blower. And in your like myself and Roy, you're a part of the 100 Club.
I certainly am. Only the one.
Only the one. I've got
career, that is.
I think I actually think Blower and I hit our tons the same match day.
Yes, I think we did last round.
Yeah. Yep.
In 2016. Talk us through it, because it was 154 at West Coast. Is that right?
It was. Again, we're talking guilty runs here.
There is no runs, guilty runs, no.
We've gone into the game undefeated, sitting on top by about 1,002 points. West Coast was sitting on bottom by about 80 points.
Yep.
And we've rolled them quickly. I think it would have been, well, I think they were lucky to make 50. We've gone out to bat. Not sure where I batted, but came in after a good start. Finished off the day about 75 not out. So by this stage, I'd played about 200 games in my career between 3 clubs I played for. Never hit a ton since juniors, and had a very nervous week, thinking, "Shit, is this the week for it to happen?" And basically, they came on. They're bowling poo, so a few early runs, and I had one where I think I must have been probably mid-90s. This shit little spinner bowling, old guy, and he's nearly ripped me. I reckon another coat of paint or a sticker on those bails, I would have been done. And the bowler's actually turned around to me and said, "You've just cost yourself 100 by missing that. You've put the nerves on." And I think I hit the next ball for 6. So put up.
Nice. So you
Lovely.
put up the tumble to 6.
It was good to bring up, and then just went for the smash, batting with Bundy, and I think the last 50 would have come up in about 20, 25 balls, just trying to clear the boundary wherever possible.
All right, Pierce Rowler.
Yeah, absolutely. As I said, mate, easy runs. I was really eyeing off the 200 the way that they're bowling, but eventually got clean ripped. And I think this game could have been also one of the ones which caused the change in rule around people taking mobile phones out, which obviously should have been a rule. But after hitting my 150, I can't remember which one. It was one of the Wells brothers. I think it was possibly Matt. Was that square leg?
Definitely Matt. Definitely Matt.
Yep.
I've seen him walk out there so many times with it, and without realising, 100% it's got to be Matt.
Yeah. So I was just about to take guard, and Matt's called from square leg, gone, "Blow, turn around." And there he is with his phone, ready to take the photo of me getting the 150.
Oh, no.
West Coast boys didn't appreciate it. There's a little bit of salt into the wound there.
Oh no.
Oh, no.
So you say the opposition was a little bit below average attack, and am I right in thinking, if my research is right, did a certain A. Gamble only make 1 run that game?
Ooh.
I know he did have a lean year that year, quite possibly.
Yeah, because it's great to see when people are successful and it's a rubbish bowling attack. A. Gamble not in the runs, isn't it?
Yeah, quite possible. As I said, it was a good start, and then there was a couple of quick wickets before I came in, I think. So, yeah, good chance that A. Gamble would have had a lean one that game.
And so you've only hit 1 ton, but you've hit, you've been in the 90s a couple of times as well for the Vikings, haven't you?
I certainly have. My first season, I think I got an 80 and a 90, and a couple of 90s throughout the thing. Throughout my years, no one really called me on it, but I started to think I was a bit of a choker myself.
It'd be tough times in the 90s.
Oh, absolutely.
Roy, have you ever been dismissed in the 90s?
I don't think so.
No? Just slog your way out of them, don't you?
Yeah, I got, in my first ton, I think I got dropped 3 times in the 90s.
Nice.
So when you're out there, I imagine at most times you struggle to count over 50. So how do you go with counting runs above 50?
I don't. I'm usually out before 10, so I don't bother counting. Yeah.
Plus, you can't count to 11.
Well, the thing is, I'm pretty good at my 6 times tables, and I don't score a lot of runs that aren't boundaries. So, I can usually figure out roughly what I'm on in a matter of a couple of shots.
Fair enough.
What's 6 times 17 then, Roy?
Is it 96?
I'm not too sure, but isn't that how many sixes you hit? I've got a calculator here, actually.
No, it's not 96. It's 80 or 84.
102.
There we go. Luckily, we got a brain in the podcast here. It is 102.
Damn.
Yeah.
Oh, No, don't worry. It's because I hit 16, not 17. That's why I said 96. But that took me a while.
Yeah, it still doesn't add up to 86, mate.
Yeah.
So, Blower, are you a man for statistics then? Do you know your stats? Do you count your runs at all?
No, I very rarely follow the stats.
Yeah.
I was like when I was at Ascot, we did have a really, really good stats guy who gave us a great book at the end of the year.
Is that a slide dig at Dino? But okay.
No, not at all, not at all. It'd be nice to have a little bit of more visibility, but most of it's on my cricket nowadays. So
Probably a good time to say hello to Dino. I'm sure you're watching as well.
Dino,
So you say
with Dino one night at the Jebediah concert.
you did?
Yeah.
Wow,
Was that at bar one?
Me, Rod Munston, and Dino went down to that bar,
Bar
one.
one? Yep.
Free drinks at his place.
Oh
wow.
that. Was he?
Jeez,
Was he
what I do to be back in bar one right now.
yeah. Wow.
Anywhere, really?
Yeah. Well, I think it's good news. I think we'll be heading to the pub soon.
Yeah, I did see one of the pubs today advertising you can book their pub out. As long as you only allow 20 people, you can book their entire pub out and create your own atmosphere.
Have you guys seen those, what Carlton Brewing are doing with those pre-purchased beers?
Yeah, me and
I think I have actually.
we have pre-purchased a couple for the Kingsway. So if
Oh,
anyone wants to
lovely.
join us, get on it.
Oh, thank you for the invite. We'll be there.
Not sure when, but it'll happen. Get yourself the $5 cards.
Yeah, well, it's good. You can purchase, like $100 vouchers or whatever, and redeemable at $5 a pint of Carlton Dry. How good?
That's not too bad. That.
Yeah.
You just got to watch the fine print.
damage. Sorry?
You just got to watch the fine print though, mate.
Oh, why?
If your pub doesn't make it out of COVID.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
We'll have to get one of those pubs to sponsor the Viking Collapse and have a host's night out.
Yeah.
I like that thinking, Matty. Good thinking.
Yeah. So just quickly, while we're on the when we'll go back to your career quickly, but so you say you used to play at Ascot, is that right?
That's correct. Yep.
So how come you moved to the Vikings?
Purely, when I had the young kids, gave up the cricket for a couple of seasons to concentrate on kids and that sort of stuff.
Yep.
And then when there was time that I decided the kids were annoying me too much at home, that I should go back and spend Saturday afternoons away from them.
Yep.
Had a couple of mates down at the Vikings and chose to play somewhere a little closer to home.
So for those that don't know, who are your mates at the Vikings, or were your mates at the start of the?
People I knew.
Yep.
Lehman, obviously a long patron of the Vikings, and Kiwi, Paul Edmonds.
Kiwi, yeah, nice. So you've been here for quite a while now, and you're part of the furniture for sure. So what do you love about the Vikings? What's made you stay all these years?
I don't know. It was just a really easy club to kind of get comfortable in. All the guys are really easy to get along with. You know, the way I like to explain the club, it's a bit of a drinking club with a cricket problem. That you can kind of sit down, have a beer with almost anyone. Everyone was really inviting, especially in those early days. So, yeah, I spent one season at one of our competitors and barely lasted the season. It was boring as batshit. Warm beer in the fridge all the time, and yeah, couldn't look into it. We're coming down to the Vikings. Couldn't be a friendlier and more fun place to be.
Warm beer in the fridge.
We almost had that issue this year. Luckily, we've got Eskies on hand.
Yeah, I was going to say, was Niall the manager then?
I was going to say we got the master clubman in Niall there who make sure our beers are generally pretty cold.
Yeah.
Brilliant. And so how would you describe yourself? If you had a couple of words to describe yourself as a cricketer, what would you describe yourself?
As a cricketer? Probably someone who takes it a little bit too serious at times with the white-line fever. But ultimately, someone who likes to have a bit of fun. Hate losing, love winning. I get extremely grumpy if we ever lose outright. But, just ultimately love to get out there and talk shit behind the stumps.
Yeah, don't blame me. Well, I'd love to hear what a couple of your teammates would like to say about as you are as a cricketer, but I reckon they'd agree with you on a lot of them.
I would assume so.
Yeah, I've got a few things here from Wissy, I asked Wissy to give a little bit of a spiel on you.
Yep.
He said, so you mentioned, behind the stumps, that's you're a keeper normally?
Was doing till the knees gave in on me, yeah.
Yeah, so what Wissy said, he obviously you like giving a bit of chat, so you've decided to move from behind the stumps to literally right in front of him. He reckons you're the closest silly mid-off fielder he's ever seen.
Yeah, I don't mind getting in there a bit close. The reflexes probably aren't what they used to be, but I've taken some screamers in close over the years, so I don't mind. And also, I like getting in the batsman's eyes a little bit. The David Warner style.
Yeah. He says, this is one I found a bit interesting. You love a loud pair of undies.
Oh, yeah. I've bought that in the last couple of years. I got myself onto one of the subscriptions. You get off the net for underwear.
Yep.
So I don't know if the guys noticed too much. Obviously, they're coming through the whites a little bit too much, but I've got a Viking pair.
Oh, lovely.
There's a nasty looking Viking in it. But yeah, some of the ones which have come through, I've actually stopped the subscription because the last pair I got were pink flamingos.
Oh,
so I'm starting to get even a little bit too loud for myself.
Have you got a lucky pair?
Was that sorry?
Have you got a lucky pair? Is there one that you're kind of almost searching for on a Saturday morning?
The Viking one was for a little bit because the first week I had him, I did hit a 50. Yeah. And I am a very superstitious cricketer.
Oh, really?
Yeah. If I hit runs, I don't change anything up. I'll have the same lunch.
Yep.
I will have the same leaving time for cricket. I will do anything and everything. Same jocks, same socks.
Yep.
Won't change the equipment in any way possible. Like I've got about 6 sets of batting inners, but the lucky ones will go to a certain bag.
Yep.
So I did have 1 year back in the Ascot days where I had a really good year. And first game, pulled the bat out, and the grip had a big tear in it. I was like, oh yeah, I'll worry about that next week. Hit a 50, and yeah, by the end of the season, the grip was falling off, and actually had the umpire tell me that if he gets me the next week, he wouldn't let me use my bat again. So,
jeez.
Laura, I reckon going back to the loud undies, I reckon you should do what AJ Ty does with socks on Instagram. Make a poll before the game, and
I like that.
See what the viewers want.
Yep, I'll take some photos ready for round 1 next year.
Yeah, definitely. I'm sure the fellow Vikings would love to see what you're rocking down there.
I'll put the challenge out to the Vikings out there. If anyone sees any which might be a good one to add to the collection, send them through.
Yeah,
not used, obviously. I'm happy to buy some, but yeah.
We'll keep our eyes out.
A thing for the future, hey?
Absolutely.
And the other thing Wissy said, which is probably just a compliment to yourself, he's always the first to the Chook Farm post-game to enjoy a beer with the boys.
Absolutely, mate. Love the Bush Chooks. Most underrated beer you'll come across. I'll have to be honest, I've become very disgruntled with the younger fuckers starting to drink it. It's gone up in price. Like, it was only 3 years ago, you get a block of that shit for $35. It's now about
Yeah.
Cheaper than water. I reckon at one stage I actually looked at buying my missus a block of like Mount Franklin water, and it's more expensive than my Bush Chook.
How many Bush Chooks have you gone through in isolation?
Not many, mate.
Really?
Actually, I'm going to put it 0 because of the I've been on a pretty strict diet.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, we did notice that. Wow. Congratulations, good on you.
Yeah.
Yeah, cheers, boys.
That does lead into our next part. We're on Vikings in isolation. We'll start with you there, Blower.
Yep.
So what have you been up to then? Say you've on a diet. What's been your diet? What's been happening?
Yep. All right, hang on 2 seconds. Kids interrupt me. All right, cool. You just tell me one of our chooks has died. All good. Have to do that. I'll get the spade out.
It's not a bush chook, is it?
No, it's not a bush chook. It's a real one. But yeah, what have I been up to? Mainly just work, boys. Losing the weight. I had a big accomplishment. I set myself a challenge going into isolation to do a puzzle. So I did a 1,000-piece puzzle.
Wow.
Which sent me absolutely stir crazy because it was one of these bullshit ones where it's all fairly same colour everywhere.
Yep.
We got through it. But yeah, just a diet which consisted of literally just eating 1 veg and 1 piece of meat a day. Wow. So, and a load of nutrients and stuff. So since I was on that since I was on that diet. I lost 10 kilos in a month. But my weigh in just before the last round, I was 103 kilos pretty much, and I'm down to 85. 17 kilos almost.
Well, that's fantastic.
Fucking hell.
Congratulations. That's
good on you.
That's very good.
Thank you.
You,
now I'm allowed a beer now, which is important. The main thing.
In time, ready
Just
for the
in
pubs to
time.
open.
Yeah.
Mate, timed it perfectly with eyesight.
Yeah.
That is brilliant. Put it all back on now in carton dries and push trucks.
That's the plan. The only reason you lose weight is to put it back on, don't you?
Yeah.
Well, that's it. I'm sure there's a fair few Vikings putting a bit of weight on, drinking beers every week in isolation. Like Tudor's putting it on, then losing it again because he's been drinking loads and then spewing up in my garden.
Oh, good for him.
Yeah. That's Tudor.
I've also heard that Tudor's been doing very, very well on keeping up with his internal exercise regime as well.
He has.
Yeah, a lot of thrusting, I've heard.
Yeah.
I've heard that he wasn't the only one vomiting in your garden, though, Matthew. I think you might be pot calling kettle black there.
Well, I know we do know Tudor likes it black, but no, he wasn't. No, I did have a little chando in the back with Tudor. Thought I wanted to be like the best clubman.
Ah, lovely.
Someone you can aspire to, buddy.
That's it. But Vikings been doing plenty in isolation. We've got a list of a couple. What have you been up to, Roy? You still in Mandurah?
Yes, I'm still down south, still just working away, my jolly self. But yeah, like I said, I think that's going to be changing very soon. I think coming Monday, I'll be, I'm not sure if I'll be back in Perth, but I'll be allowed to visit people and see people. So yeah, I'm excited, looking forward to that. How about yourself?
I've been, still been playing FIFA, beating Nego and stuff. And although they haven't really been playing me in the last couple of weeks because I've beaten them too much. So I've been playing golf with club legend Timmy Damon at the moment.
No, I've heard he's quite a good golfer.
He's not too bad. He hits.
He's been allowed out of the house and away from the kids, has he?
He has. I think he's escaping from work.
It was actually his birthday today, wasn't it?
It was.
Happy birthday, Timmy.
Yeah, the birthday god was on his side today on the golf course for sure. He played well. But no, not too much. Just waiting for the pubs to open again, Roy, and hopefully be back out drinking the kegs dry soon.
Well, you have been doing a little bit of drinking in small groups, haven't you?
That's it, I have.
So I heard you were having a few with Reef the other night, and he managed to lose his phone. Is that true?
Yes. Yeah, we did. We went up. Me, Flynn and Reef went to a friend's house for a couple of drinks. A couple of drinks for Reef is a lot for everyone else. Get an Uber back, get home, get a message next morning from Reef saying, "Have you seen my phone? I've lost it." No, not seen it. No one that was at the party seen it or the gathering seen it. Uber hasn't got it, so it's someone's riding their bike along Hepburn Avenue. I'm sure they might find a new phone.
Good
Hasn't he heard of that, like Track My Phone app?
Yeah,
I'm sure that'll be quite valuable for him.
Didn't have it apparently. Space Cadet Reef.
Yeah.
He's one of a kind, old Reefer, isn't he, Roy?
Yeah, he is. He's a special kid. Have you had much to do with him, Blower?
Yeah, played a few games with him over the years before he got the call up this year to once.
Yep.
Yeah, he's a good kid, as you say. He's a bit of a loose cannon, but he's good fun to have around the club.
Yeah, he's a great bloke to have around the club, isn't he?
Well, we've gone through some great clubs, great people around the club, and we'll go to two that are a bit controversial. Nicky James and Nego, Roy.
Yes. Well, this is a good story, I guess. Might be able to keep them away from us a little bit. I've heard they've both found the one as such. Only in a matter of the first date within the last week, but they're both pretty smitten, I believe.
Yeah.
And then, I think the opposites happened to Niall and one of your close friends.
Well, that's it was one of the great love stories, wasn't it, for the first 48 hours of them knowing each other. And then
Yeah.
she had to go on a plane back to England. But that didn't stop the big man. They were on calls every night. And but yeah, we had to, that ship sailed, unfortunately. With Carl and Georgie, they're no longer. Although I have heard a couple of rumours that there is a couple of drunken FaceTimes at early hours in the morning.
Well, with her moving back to the UK, she'd only get the last couple of inches now, wouldn't she?
Oh, too true, too true.
Yeah, well, I don't know if his prong fits on a Snapchat.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's send our best wishes to Niall. I'm sure he's feeling it. He's a bit sad at the moment.
If he's having those Snapchats, mate, I'm sure he is feeling it.
We'll move on to the next part of the pod. We got a couple of questions from some fans, Blower. We
look forward to it.
We sent out on our club Instagram at SCC Vikings for those not following it, and we got some messages. And the first one came in from at Paul_Edmonds, and he said,
"How to use a computer?"
Yeah, well, he said, "How did you get your first job?"
Okay, so this one's a reason Paul's asked this because he was heavily involved with it. So for those who don't actually realise, Kiwi's about 65. He's a lot older than most of us. So I was only about 14 at the time, and he was a manager at the pizza in Woodvale back in the days where you could have all you can eat. And so I didn't really have a license at the time, but I wanted a job. So I rode up to Pizza Hut and walked in, asked to speak to the manager, and there's Kiwi, and he's going, "Yeah, all right, you have to fill in this form." So I filled it in, handed it in, and he goes, "Oh, okay, you're only 14. You actually need to get a letter from your mum." And I've gone, fuck, it's a 15-minute ride home, and then a 15-minute ride back, and then a fucking 15-minute ride to the back home. It's going to extend the journey a little bit. So I walked across the road, went to newsagents, bought myself a 50-cent pen, leant up against the dumpster on the back of Pizza Hut, wrote a little letter out from my mum saying that she's all good for Mark to work till, stupid hours in the morning cleaning up and stuff. Walked back in, pretended to ride back, got back, handed it in, and Kiwi reckons that he was that impressed that I was that keen riding backwards and forwards and doing it that quick that he gave me the job.
Oh, what a guy.
Was that a few years later that I told him the truth that I was just sitting out the back and
yeah, he reckons it was 10 years later that you actually told him the truth.
Yeah.
Very, very, very cheeky.
Absolutely. Easy to do when you're a kid to get a job.
Yeah.
And what was he like to work under? Was he a good boss, old Kiwi?
Yeah, he was good, mate. There was plenty of drinking sessions, pretty lax laws in working there.
Yeah.
Good fun.
Obviously, those drinking sessions were when you were 18, weren't they?
Yes. You are recording it.
Yeah. We've got one here from. We've got another question here from at TD 611, Timmy Damon. That is, what's the most explicit sledge you've dished out or received?
There could be a few on this one. Sure.
Thanks for that one. I don't know. I like the classics. Those who have played with me would have heard. I've seen better batsmen than in a fish and chip shop, or more edges than a Rubik cube. Want to bring the bowlers on better line than I've seen with Ben Cousins. They're the ones I generally go to. But I like coming out with challenging the batsman generally. Ones that make him think a little bit. But the one that I reckon that really sums me up back in the early days was one game I played when I was at Ascot, and this was one of those times when I did have someone throw a punch at me. And as a year after, I kind of said, "Yep, that's it. I'm not playing any more, boys." But my dad was captain of one of the lower grades, and he rang me up and went, "Oh, I was short. Can you play?" And I'm like, "Yeah, right. I'll come down for the one day." And this team had put on, I think it was 180 something in one day. It's a good score. And our opening bats were a bit slow, and then we lost a couple of quick wickets. So I've gone in at 4, and one of them must have recognised me from before, being a sledger or batting up the grades or something, and they've really hit into me. This fucking superstars come down the grades. He reckons he's better than all of us. I don't know where they got it from, but they started up on it. and they had one slip fielder, and he was going at me non-stop for probably 5 overs, and we're falling behind the run rate. I hadn't played in about 6 games, no preseason, so I was a bit edgy. Hit a few, and then and then eventually I've hit a couple of runs, and then I've gone for big cover drive, big edge, and it's flown past him about knee height, probably a half a dive away from him. I've ran the 2, and as I've come back, I've looked at him and gone, couldn't dive for that, you fat fuck. And basically, it was on for that. He was up in my face, had a swing at me. At this stage, I was, probably 26. So, yeah, it was quite an interesting one. But yeah, it was a good game. We ended up winning it. I got out at one of my 90s efforts, needing 12 runs off the last over, and unfortunately couldn't make it. Skied one, got out for 92, I think. But yeah, that was probably one of them that was quite good. But going back to also, I like to try and get the batsmen thinking and out of their normal focus. So one of the ones, again, where I got someone throw a punch at me, again, as Wissy said, I like to get nice and close. So get it short leg after this guy, edged a couple onto his pad. And as I've walked in, he goes, "Oh, you shouldn't field there." And I was about 18 at this stage. And I basically turned around and said, "If you can fucking hit me, you're doing bloody well, because you haven't found the middle of the bat yet." And every fucking ball, I was at him. He's had a big fucking swing trying to hit me, towed it, caught and bowled. And basically, he's got out, and I've turned around and went, "Yeah, told you to get out trying to get me out." And yeah, he's gone off as well. Old fucker just didn't like it, and he had a swing at me. So some of these old guys, it doesn't take much, but
yeah, whatever happened to the gentleman's game?
Exactly.
What about you, Roy? What's the best sledge you've ever said or received?
I was just thinking about, I'm not too much of a sledger. I more try and distract the batsman's focus by talking utter random shit. But I was thinking of one. There's a few from yourself, Matt. I could probably name a few. There's the one where we were at the Wacker watching Hobart versus Scorchers, and you were telling the whole Hobart.
It was a group effort, I think.
Yeah, you were telling the whole Hobart dugout that like their mother is their brother, their mother's their sister, their father's their brother, and Xavier Doherty ended up coming up to you and told you to shut up, you little. See you next Tuesday.
Yeah.
There was that one. There was we were both about.
He then went on to become a World Cup winner, so I will take credit for that one. Thank you.
You did kiss and make up 2 weeks later, didn't you? He gave you his hat after we beat them in the grand final.
We did, yeah. He remembered me, signed his hat, and gave me his hat to his credit. So big shout out to old Zave. I'm sure he's watching this.
Yep. What was the other one? When we were both about 12, 13 or something, sitting around the boundary down at Seacrest. I think it was North Beach versus
Joondalup.
Joondalup.
One of them, yeah.
One of them, yeah. And we've got no idea who any of the cricketers from the other club are. Matt's just gone over to the score sheet, looked at who the bowler is, and starts singing the old Mitchell Johnson. He bowls to the left, he bowls to the right. That Chris Clement is bowling his shot. And he wanted to have a few words with us as 12-year-old kids, which was a bit frightening, but we got a bit of a G out of it. And what was the other one? I can't really remember this story. You probably won't even remember it, Matt, but for some reason it sticks in my head. When you were playing districts, I reckon you've turned around to the keeper who's had a face full of sun cream on or zinc on, and you've asked him why his dad didn't clean up.
I don't remember that, no.
That's definitely come out of your mouth.
Yeah, it could have been. Yeah, I don't remember that, but I hope I did, because that's quite funny.
Yeah.
The district days, those were the days.
Have you got any others other than those three from yourself?
Not really, no. Like you, I think we just like to, our chat's usually just to get in the batsman's head, isn't it? I think the one that springs to mind is when we got a wicket because we were talking about Mickey James getting a tan the night before. The batsman was as surprised as us.
Surprised, yeah.
Yeah, but no, not really. Remember being a kid, when you're young and you start playing seniors, you get a little bit of chirp, but not too much, no.
Yeah, I'll tell you who's got very good chirp. It only comes out once a year on Pink Stumps Day, Glenn Hinkley.
Oh wow, yes. Actually,
Very,
they are.
very
That is
good.
probably a couple of the sledges I love the most. In Stumps Day, the week after you got back from Bali, I think was the best one when we opened the baton together, Roy.
Yeah, I can't really remember that one, but yeah,
Can't really or don't want to remember it.
a bit of both.
Right, we'll move on to the next question you got, Blower. We've actually touched on this before. This is from the president at Real Mike Tutunsis. How did you feel when Tony Denman refused to shake your hand?
Yeah, I joked about it earlier, saying they were both futuristic, but no, it wasn't the case. Yeah, I don't know. At the time, didn't really think too much of it. I think Tony's got a bit of a reputation as the leader of the mothers group and likes to have a whinge. So the fact he didn't shake my hand wasn't any surprise to me. I think he'd whinged for about half an hour before that about our slow overrate and the fact that they're all slightly overweight guys and took them half an hour between overs had nothing to do with it. But yeah, he's a bit of a whinger. That didn't surprise me at all.
Yeah, no, well, we have those games once a year, I'm sure, where we it's a bit of
I think Toots did pull off the Tony Denman at Mad Monday a couple of years ago a lot better than Tony Denman pulls it off. So he did a great job.
Yeah, that was a good outfit, that.
And there's one more story that I just want to get you to talk to us about, involving how you broke your nose.
Oh, okay. I've broken it a couple of times.
I think you know the one we're talking about.
Well, both are interesting stories. One was in a fight in a Phuket establishment, so you can put that together. But I think the one you're talking about was when me and the wife, before we got married, I was over her place and basically just having a tickle fight as young lovers do.
Yep.
Their family's there, but we're having a bit of a muck around and basically got to the stage where I had enough. So I kind of picked her up and put her on the floor, but there's a shoe next to her. And she's picked the shoe up and pegged it at me from about a metre away. So basically it's clocked me right in the middle of the nose and sent it, one way that it shouldn't have gone. And it was one of those awkward ones where, her parents are sitting there, I'm sitting there, she's sitting there, and it's that silence where it's like, shit, who says what? And all's going through my head is, the old Austin Powers, who throws a shoe sort of line. So basically I've looked at her dad and gone, how's it look? And he goes, yeah, Cobb, she doesn't look right. So I've gone to look at him. It's off into one side. So trip down to emergency and the doctor's kind of giving me the choice. He goes, you want me to put it in place now or do you want it to heal? And, we get the proper surgeons to do it in a couple of months' time. I went, stuff it, I'm tough. I can do this now. So 16 needles went into the cheeks. And these are big bloody needles with big curves because they have to go in the cheek and under the nose and all that sort of stuff. And, the eyes are starting to water at this stage and can't feel a thing, but it's starting to push it at this stage. And, you can feel the bone grinding against each other. I don't know if you've had something similar, but you feel it. And I'm like, don't like this at all. And so eventually he goes, I think it's straight. And it's got me to sit up. Turn to the missus, I go, is it straight? And you could just see tears bawling out of her eyes. She turns around and goes, no. Back down again. He's having us, push it more into place. But he's done an all right job. It's still looking good now. So.
Well, is it the reason that you it contributed to you having to get surgery due to your chronic snoring?
Yes. About 4 or 5 years ago, I had to go to hospital. The snoring and sleep apnea was getting to a stage where the doctor threatened to take my license off me.
Oh shit! Yep.
So I had to go get the nose fixed up and tonsils out, tongue reduced, top of the mouth reduced, and big operation. Ended up in the back of a hospital a couple of days later and found out I'm a haemophiliac. So all good fun.
Jeez,
lovely.
Wow. That's a funny story for sure. Yeah, broken nose, breaking bones in a funny way. You can't beat it. do enjoy them
Probably,
stories.
probably another time when we're not being recorded, I'll tell you about the one where I was in the Phuket establishment.
Yeah, plenty of stories for offline.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Well, that wraps up another episode of the Viking Collapse. Blower, once again, thank you very much for coming on. I'm sure Roy will say the same. It's been a pleasure, and those stories,
Absolute pleasure.
questions have been exceptional. So thank you very much.
Excellent, guys. Hopefully, it brings a few laughs to the boys.
That's it. Well, we've
Wonderful.
got one more thing that we do have to go. Roy, big week on the punt this week, is it?
Yeah, well, hopefully Blower doesn't listen to me because there's a little bit of a story there as well, isn't there?
Yeah, mate.
One day I sent through a whole bunch of tips to Rod, who's forwarded them onto Blower, and let's just say Blower wasn't too happy at the end of the day.
Oh no! So maybe the punters watching shouldn't listen to Roy's racing tip.
The last thing I did that day was stop listening to Roy's tips about race 5.
Yeah, well, this week we'll go to Morphettville, race 2. Number 4, Kazuhiko. Hasn't actually raced before, but this horse was bought for $1.7 million. So, look, it should have a lot of promise. The trainer is quite excited about it, I believe. So that's hitting the track this week. It's paying $7 at the moment, sitting in 4th favourite. So I reckon she could run a drum for us.
$1.7 million a Gambo buy it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he got change.
Yeah.
So, well, no, once again, thank you very much, Blower. Roy, let's hope the tip comes in. So, to everyone that's watching, thank you very much. Please give this video a like on the YouTube page and click the subscribe button so we can keep going every fortnight. Once again, please support the sponsors of the Vikings. They do a lot for us. So head to the website, on the Facebook pages. We've got all of them and their links to their websites and numbers. Roy, is there anything you want to add before we head?
I don't think so. Just thanks for coming on, Blower. And can't wait to catch up with you soon for a bush chook, or I might have a single fin, but each to their own. Yeah, look forward to seeing everyone again.
Perfect. Well, have a good week, Vikings, and we'll catch you soon.